I'm coming at you live from Sydney, Ohio. And today's movie is the worst movie I've ever seen. I know I said that about Battlefield Earth. Battlefield Earth has redeeming qualities. This movie doesn't. I'm pretty sure its target audience is little kids. So you're saying, wow, and you're not its target audience. No, it is too boring for little kids, and it is too stupid for everyone else. It was written by an award-winning screenwriter, though you could think it was written by an 8-year-old. The animation in it, Santa looks skinny. The elves have giant heads, like something you would draw when you were 5. A giant head. I mean, logically, they could not walk in real life if their head was this big. They have characters such by the name of Tingle, Jingle, Bingle, Cheer, and the sinister minister of North Pole dark magic, as in he has to differentiate himself from other North Pole dark magicians. They mention the snow melting at the North Pole. The snow never melts at the North Pole. There are conversations of soup. Santa takes a nap when there's a crisis. I mean, this movie is bad. Santa's glasses have no little pieces like this that hang onto the ears. They just have the frames that hang onto the nose. I'm not sure how those work. Maybe Santa magic. His main reindeer's name is Angus. Angus the reindeer. You never heard about those in that reindeer in Santa stories, but that's his main reindeer's name. So let's jump right in. This story starts with the elves, whose heads are giant, massively disproportionate to their body. And this movie's name's Elf Day. It's on Peacock, Tubi, and Pluto if you want to watch it, though I don't recommend it. The elves discussing going out, because it's springtime, going out to see the lake and plant flowers and check on the elven crops. They even call them the elven crops. And the one elf talks about restarting the ELF detective agency that they were in at some point before, though we never find out what ELF stands for. So we're just going to assume it stands for elf, and they just want to put periods in it. Then we see Santa and his main reindeer, Angus, going home to Mrs. Claus and talking about soup. When Santa realizes his tree is gone and replaced with a cheap copy, and Santa decides to take a nap. You heard me right. Santa decides to take a nap. So then the elves once again discuss starting up the ELF detective agency with more elves. Now, our main elves' names are Jingle, Bingle, Doorbell, Cheer, and I don't remember the other one's name, but it rhymes with Jingle and Bingle. So once again, this movie could be written by an 8-year-old. They get called into Santa's workshop after Angus wakes Santa up from his nap to restart the ELF detective agency to find Santa's missing tree. At which point, Doorbell confesses that she stole the tree. Then the elves go off and discuss with Doorbell where the tree is, and Doorbell says she doesn't know. She just woke up outside of Santa's house, and the tree was gone. So Bingle, Jingle, and Tingle, I believe his name is Tingle, discuss that maybe Doorbell didn't do it, and they need to find clues. So they go see Lorcan the Caterpillar, while Cheer and Doorbell discuss maybe the Doorbell didn't do it because there's no other clue there that Doorbell did it. There's no pine needles, there's no pine cones, there's no nothing. So they're pretty sure Doorbell didn't do it. While Jingle, Tingle, and Bingle, yes, his name is Bingle, go see Lorcan the Caterpillar, who says that Doorbell didn't do it. And that she was under the control of a man called the Sinister Minister of North Pole Dark Magic, who we then meet, and his name is Grouper, and he's an elf, once again with a massively big head, only this one's green, and he is dark magic, and Grunt is his dragon, who once again has a massively big head, and he casts a spell to put Santa and Angus in the North Pole tundra. At which point Angus guides Santa back to Santa's workshop, and they once again discuss soup. Then Grouper summons Jack-o'-lantern, which is a body of a man with a jack-o'-lantern for a head, to do his bidding, but Jack-o'-lantern is pretty much a surfer dude like Grunt the dragon. To which Jack-o'-lantern says, "Look, I'm cool," and does this with his arms to prove that he's got cool moves, at which point Grouper sends him away. Now I'm going to go to a club and do this with my arms on the dance floor and try to attract women, because apparently those are cool moves. Well, the elves, the ELF detective agency, hears a dragon. They claim it's a roar. It actually sounds like a laugh. And Jingle, Tingle, and Bingle find the castle and meet up with Grouper, at which point Grouper casts a spell on one of them to make him almost fall off the ledge. And by almost fall off the ledge, it means he just walks around in a circle for a few minutes. But they make a big deal out of it. By the way, this is like the only action in the movie. And then they decide that since they were once friends, they're going to let bygones be bygones. And since Grouper is surrounded by idiots because his dragon wants to go to a beach and surf, that Grouper's just going to let them have the tree, and he's just going to stop committing magical acts. And so the elves go back with the tree. Grouper is invited to Easter dinner to eat Mrs. Claus's pot roast in an act of charity, and so are the ELF detective agency. And that is the end of the movie. If any of that sounded fun to you, you need a lobotomy. This movie is awful. Their mouths move, but their mouths move in the same shape no matter what they say. They walk, but once again, the elves' heads are massive, and they wouldn't be able to walk in real life. They would just fall over. Santa is actually skinny. His main reindeer's name is Angus. I mean, we've all heard of Angus the reindeer, haven't we? This movie is awful. It has the worst CGI I've ever seen. The worst script I've ever seen. I mean, it looks like it's been written by an 8-year-old. The worst ending I've ever seen. No confrontation hardly in it. And just stupid, silly shit for laughs. It doesn't appeal to its age group because it just moves too slow. It doesn't appeal to older groups because it's just stupid as shit. So I highly recommend you watch this movie because it is the dumbest fucking thing you will ever see. And I will once again remind you, this is written by an award-winning screenwriter. And the credits roll so slowly, you can literally take a gun and shoot every name as they roll. And you'd have like 5 minutes to aim the gun. That's how proud they were to work on this god-awful movie. Once again, it's on Peacock, it's on Tubi, it's on Pluto, it's on a bunch of other stuff. It's called Elf Day. Go check it out. Come back next week. Hopefully we can do Santa Werewolf. I'm not sure if it'll have sound issues or visual issues or anything. I know it's on Tubi. I haven't checked it out yet, but hopefully that can be the movie we do next week. And hopefully it's better than this piece of crap.